Hello, this is Mayra for So Easy and welcome to my sewing room. Today we're going to have a project that will require about 4 hours of your time. It was made out of necessity because my daughter needed a party dress in a hurry. I didn't have much fabric and obviously not much time. So if you ever needed a dress in a hurry and didn't have much materials to work with, this is a perfect project for you. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you for watching. This is what I made, and I have used 1.5 meters of fabric, and it was very wide. We're going to begin with printing the pattern from the website. It is a free pattern and it has 8 sizes, 8 to 22. We will need some safety pins, some normal pins, the kit for the eyelids or grommets as some people know it, bias tape, a 1/4 inch elastic, a zipper, an owl to make the holes for the eyelids. You can use the one in the little bit inside. I don't like it because sometimes it's blunt and it opens. It's like open a piñata. You don't know what you'll get. I prefer to use this one because that one is a tool because it opens and doesn't matter how many layers of fabric you are using. You'll use a pencil and a ruler. In addition to all that, you will need some lace and the fabric of your choice, plus a little gadget called a loop turner. As you follow our pattern, you will know how many pieces you need to cut for each side. One for the right and one for the left. We'll take it to the sewing machine and start from the B, putting together B and C. I am going to sew the curve of the bust. You need to go very slowly here because the tendency is to pucker. The fabric will pucker underneath if you don't move the fabric following the curve of the 5/8 of an inch of the seam allowance. So use many pins as you need or none, which I'm taking them off because I find that by moving the top fabric to match with the edge of the lower fabric and still keeping with 5/8 of an inch, it's much easier to make that curve. You will have to find out which method works for you the best. For me, this is what experience and practice has taught me. You need to go very slow. Take your time because it's better to do something slowly and once than many times and very fast. We'll have a look underneath and see if there are any pleats made by the stitches. I see none. There is a little bit of a tightness on the bust point, but that will disappear once we pass the ironing to it. If you were to put a breast pad here, you open the seams and iron the seams open. I am not using that, and I am not using boning either. I will just leave it soft. So I will trim these seam allowances and iron them to one side. Now we will be stitching on the top 5/8 of an inch on both sides. Be sure you start at 5/8 of an inch or you will change the length of the front of the top where the eyelids are located, and this mistake is very easy to see. I have sped the camera, so the machine sounds a bit funny. After finishing the top stitches, we're going to trim the seam allowance, so when we turn it inside out, it will fold easier. It is a curve, and to be able to take that shape, the seam allowance needs to be smaller. Turn the sides inside out and finger press the seam allowance, making sure one side is lower by about 1/16 of an inch. Iron the top this way because one side is lining and the other one is the front, and you don't want the lining to show, especially if you're using a contrasting fabric. Do the same to both sides, and you can top stitch it after you iron it. It will be a very nice detail if you are going for the casual look. Once you have turned the sides inside out, align the front where the eyelets are going to be and make sure they are the same length. We are going to use the tools that are inside is eyelid pack, and one is for hammering, the other one is for opening the hole. The hole should always be smaller than the eyelid because otherwise it will come off with time. I will show you the pieces and then you decide what you're going to use to open the hole. Scissor or these tiny tools, okay. We are going to place the eyelids or grommets, as some of you might know them, and the taller side is the front and the little guy is the back. So we take the front side and thread it through the hole that we have previously made, either with the tool that came in the pack or with an owl or with a hole puncher for leather that I showed you previously. Place that short bit in the back, and this is where you'll use your hammer. Hammer it until it is flat, and so the fabric will not come out. Finally, we're going to work on piece T on your pattern, and this one needs to be cut twice on the fold. Once you sew both pieces together, you top stitch the seam allowance and then you cut. The reason you cut is because elastic is going to be applied on this side and it's going to make it less bulky. Cut about half of the seam allowance. Fold and press with your iron. The top stitching part will be inside, and the one that doesn't have the top stitch is the back of your blouse. I am using a 1/4 inch elastic, and I am pulling the elastic and then let it bounce back and see how much I need. In my case, I will need half. I am using the foot, half the foot, to make a very straight line where a casing where the elastic will be going. How many you need depends on the size, and I will end at the end of the top, about 5/8 of an inch from the end or more. This technique is called shearing without elastic thread, shearing without an elastic thread, and it's very comfortable to wear, very easy on the skin, and it's very difficult to tell which side is the front and which side is the back. I am making the top row to the size of the foot, keeping the edge very straight. The first line will determine how crooked or how straight your work will be. I will show you one more row and then I will finish it off camera because this step takes about 20 minutes. With the help of a loop turner or a bobbin pin, hook the elastic so it goes through the casing, but before you do that, clip a safety pin so it doesn't go through entirely, and then secure it on the other end with a pin or another safety pin, whichever you prefer. Once you've done, secure the elastic by zigzagging along the side or sewing 1/4 of an inch on both sides. Pin the shearing side to the rest of the top, sew at 5/8 of an inch. Trim the sides, not the shearing part, because you are going to top stitch the shearing part so it lays flat. This is the reason why the seams won't scratch the skin. Trim it to about half, lay it flat, and sew 2 times, one at the very edge and one a little bit further, maybe 1/8 of an inch from it. You won't even notice the zigzag or your serger stitches, and in the front it's very elegant to look at. It's a very good finish, and now all it remains is to attach the bias tape. Pin it from the inside and leave about 1/2 inch. Don't worry, this is going to be covered when you sew the second time. Make sure you pin and you sew on the first fold. Use as many pins as possible, and when you are going through the shearing part, pull the shearing part to make sure that you catch every single bit of the top. Fold the bias tape once again and cut, leaving also 1/2 inch. Take it to the sewing machine and really follow the first crease that you see on the bias tape, and make sure that you go really straight. Take your time. I have sped the camera so it won't take too long because we still have to make this skirt. The next step will be to fold the tape to the other side and fold it just below the sewing line and pin in between the tape and the fabric and see where it goes. If it's too high, adjust the tape. If it's too low, do the same. The point is to use the pin to simulate where the needle of the machine is going to go through. Neither too high or not too low. It's very important you take your time on this step because it's very difficult to sew satin and cotton together. The tape will have the tendency to go down because of the pressure of the foot. So don't be surprised if behind the stitches are in the middle of the tape. In the front it will look as however you have sewn it. So if you have kept in the ditch, like they call this stitch, and those rhyme, and that means that you have done a good job in the front. In the back, if it is caught, it's good enough. With time you will learn to align both front and back. Not so easy, still is a challenge for me, so I have to take it easy. What remains now is to make the tie or the lace for the top, and for this you will use the rest of the bias tape. I have laced the top, but I haven't ironed it, so that remains to be done. Would also add some more top stitching to it to give it a little more shape. It is time to start with the skirt. 3 pleats in the front, 3 pleats in the back, and the invisible zipper in the middle. You can add a lace at the bottom if it's too short. To make the skirt, all you need to do is measure your waist and add to that waist the amount of pleats that you want. We have 6 here, so each pleat takes 4 inches to make. You add that 24 inches to your waist measurement, and then 5/8 of an inch for the sides of the zipper. That is, if you're not adding any pockets to the side, you can cut this in one piece if you have enough fabric. I did not, so I had to add 2 panels in the back. Anyways, it all depends on your waist. To that 30-inch waist, then you add 24, so it's 54 plus 5/8 of an inch for each side of the zipper. And there you have it. You find the middle of all these measurements, and it's about 28, and that is where the first pleat will be. Each pleat has a distance between them of 4 inches. So remember, each pleat takes 4 inches to make. We're going to add the zipper, and what I do is I sew 5/8 of an inch on each side of the skirt. This is a guide that I use for both sides because I find this is the easiest way to apply an invisible zipper. There is an excellent tutorial. I will leave the link below so you can follow it. It is on our playlist, and it is very detailed, explaining how to do exactly what I'm doing. Before I sew the other side of the zipper, I try it on, see if it's not catching on the fabric. And now it's done and it looks good. Nothing is showing. It's time to make the first pleat. Find the center of your skirt and mark it. Mark the middle, and it should line up with the zipper. With the help of the ruler and marking 2 inches from the center, fold the fabric towards the middle, keeping it really straight, and pin it in place. This pleat is very slimming, so it's very nice to wear a skirt like this one. Make the same thing, 2 inches from the center, make a fold and fold it towards the middle. Here's your first pleat. Now we have 5 more to go. Since I'm making 3 pleats in the front, I am going to decide where the second one is going to go. So it's about 4 inches from the middle. I fold the fabric 2 inches in towards the center of the pleat. I pin it 2 inches more. Then I fold towards the center of the pleat and pin it one more time. I will speed the camera now, so if you need to slow it down or pause, please do so. We're working on the back center pleat. 2 inches in on the left, 2 inches in on the right, and the zipper will remain in the middle. Add the other 2 pleats and we're done. All remains now is to attach the waistband. Top stitch along all over before you attach the waistband. That's to prevent the pleats from moving anywhere. Attach fusible interfacing to your waistband, and on each side fold in 1/2 inch. The waistband you have to cut to your measurement plus 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch on each side. So you fold 1/4 in and then another 1/4 in. Attach and fold the zipper a little bit down, so when you fold it up it won't show. Attach the waistband to the skirt and being careful not to sew over the pins. I didn't do the top stitching because I'm used to sewing these kind of pleats, but if you are starting, please do top stitch it, because trim the waistband to reduce the bulk. Not too much, only about 1/4 inch all around. I tend not to touch the waistband because I think it looks better if you just reduce the bulk rather than just trim the whole thing. I have done a 5/8 inch seam and folded, and now I'm folding it once again. This is the same technique with the bias tape. You will punch the pin through the space and see where it comes out on the other side. If it's not too high or not too low, then it's good. Otherwise you have to adjust the waistband. So all along and you are done. I have added the lace and the ribbon in the back to make a closure. You can add a hook and eye in the back to keep the waistband closed. Believe it or not, this technique was popular up to the 1300s when the buttons were invented. I have used fabric from my stash and lace that I had laying around. I wanted to show you how you can produce 2 different pieces on different fabrics and still have something pretty to wear. By using fancier fabric, then you will turn the pattern into a very nice evening look. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on an easy party dress. The pattern is free on our store on Craftsy. And until next time, thank you all for watching.